Welcome to the System to Success show. On this show, we'll cover the best growth advice from top CEOs in North America and beyond. On each episode, your host, Jay Crutchfield, he's a former software engineer turned entrepreneur, created and maintained online marketing, online sales, and fulfillment systems for global brands. He offers non-traditional wisdom about business systems mastery, while his guests share the story of how they built their companies. Jay and his guests talk entrepreneurship, digital marketing, strategy, and business principles. But they also talk about what it means to be human with all the ups and downs, advances, and setbacks. And what he does is he takes his information and strategies that has helped catapult global brands and brings that to the small business owner to give them that advantage. Make sure to subscribe and follow for more of these business system mastery principles.
To the System to Success show. I'm your host, Jay Crutchfield. And on today's show, we're going to talk about 3 steps to obtaining massive confidence. 3 steps to attaining massive confidence. So I've served on a lot of different nonprofit boards, worked in nonprofits in various capacities, right? So from serving on boards to serving toilets with some Ajax and bleach. So I've done some things that some people wouldn't even admit to doing on that, just to be able to serve these different organizations to assist them with fulfilling their mission. And so in that, I've had some awesome stories, had some awesome experiences. And so one was I was serving in this particular ministry at the time, and I was working with the media team and the media team in other capacities. And so this particular day, I was actually controlling and running the soundboard. And so during this point in this service, what was happening was that there was a gentleman that he was supposed to sing a song. And then he lets the pastor know that he that he didn't have the music to the song. And the pastor asked him a question. He said, "Hey, do you feel comfortable singing this song without the music?" And he was like, "Yeah." Like, "Yeah, I feel comfortable. I can do this. I'm confident I can do this." And so he moves from the pew. It was his time to sing. He moves from the pew. And I'm just watching this, shaking my head. I'm like, I don't think this guy should really be doing this. I don't think he's really on it. And so he strolls out, big smile plastered all on his face. And he walks to the front of the room. And so he's facing an audience of people. And he puts the mic up to his face. And he starts singing the song. Now, I don't know if he's listening to this, so I don't want to put him directly on blast in that. But when he started singing, the words that came out were on point. But the sound was super screechy. It made the people cringe. It was bad. It was terrible. And so, yeah, I didn't see him come back to meetings after that. Oh my goodness. And so, though he didn't say it, he felt like he made a fool of himself. And so looking at that, there's a difference between being proud, being arrogant, and being confident. Right. One of the richest men who ever lived, and who is known to have an abundance of understanding coupled with wisdom, said pride goes before destruction. And so with that, looking at that, this guy was being being prideful and being arrogant in that side. And so in that, yeah, we can pretend or have this inflated view of what we believe we can accomplish without training. And that's great to have the belief in that. But that's not the confidence that's going to get you results. That's not even confidence. That's on the point of arrogance on that side. I mean, looking at that, I mean, we're speaking bluntly about that on that side. It's like we can all get someone else that can assist on those areas and where we're weak at, right? And being able to say that hey, I'm weak in this area, and that's fine because somebody else is strong in that side. And so looking at confidence, I see it and looking at just life and seeing like 5 main areas of life that people are looking, or I want to just say people and myself are looking to really gain confidence in these areas, in parts of these areas. So looking at that, you may have your own beliefs on this side, but I'll just share some of mine on this, right? And so the first one we're looking at is the spirit side. And so your belief in connection to a divine source that's greater than you, right? And so that side, how can you develop spiritual confidence in, maybe whatever your faith is on that side? The next one is, we look at is the soul, our mind, our will, our emotion. How can I gain the confidence that I'm looking for to, let's say if I didn't know how to ski, which I don't, ski, we'll talk about that too. Or even the physical side, with our bodies and things that we interact with outside of our minds, right? How can we gain confidence in executing on this particular activity as well, such as the playing of basketball, or even financially? How can we gain the confidence to manage our personal finances better on that side, or a new way and a more effective way to manage our finances? And the last one, socially, how can we develop the relationships and have the confidence to be in relationship with people? It may be intimate relationship, or it may be through like a friendship, and intimate can be through friendship as well too, or it may be through colleagues, developing that relationship to engage with potential clients, right? It may be, looking for a friendship. You may be in a new city, new town. You want to be able to strike up conversations with people. Like, how do you develop that? And then being able to have that and have it massively. And so we're looking at, there's 3 steps to doing that. The first is being able to consent to give permission to someone that knows more about that than you do. And so that may be through coaching, that may be through mentorship, that may be through reading books. So giving yourself permission to receive some assistance, because we all have some areas where we may not necessarily be performing the way that we want to, and we want to go to new heights, right? And so looking at that, how can I do that? Through giving myself consent and giving others consent to speak into me the things that may not feel good at the time, but they'll assist me with going to the next level. The next thing is, after we allow this mentor, this coach, we read this book, after we allow it to speak to us, the next step for that is actually carrying it out. So we consent, then we carry out the actions necessary to increase our skill set in that area, right? And so I look at that, the gentleman that was singing, it could have been more effective for him to practice more, right? To invest in a vocal coach, right? And to do that more often before he got on a stage and really embarrass himself. And so with that, we may have done some things, we may have allowed people to speak to us and then carry out actions that may have been contrary to what the mentor, what the coach, what the person that was speaking into us that has more results than us, we may have carried out actions that was contrary to that and been embarrassed by it and then want to go and run and hide. But in order for us to gain that confidence, we still want to be willing to, even when we mess up or even when we miss the mark, we still want to get back up and get out there and do the action, even though embarrassment may happen, because that embarrassment is short-lived. That embarrassment is temporary, and we can complete with that embarrassment and allow that to stay in the past and look for that brighter future for us, right? So the first thing we do to attain that massive confidence is consent, right? Consent to someone being able to feed, to share with us on how to go to that next level and what we're looking for. The next thing is to carry out the actions necessary. And the third thing is to compete, right? Right. I can hear all my athletes on there, right? All my athletes, like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I was just watching, oh man, I was just watching some of the Browns game yesterday versus the Ravens. I didn't even get to finish that out anyway. But looking at that, competing, I can beat you. I can defeat you. I'm better, right? All right. So, not to burst your bubble, that's not the competition that I'm talking about. I'm talking about competing with a version of you from yesterday, right? So that this new version of you is, through days of competing with yourself, is nearly unrecognizable, right? And so looking at it from that point of competition, yeah, I think the competition is good. Looking at yourself and saying, hey, how can I be the most effective version of me today? And I look at, okay, what's my results from yesterday? How can I outdo me? Right? And so that focusing on yourself and becoming more aware of yourself I'll say for me, allows me to be more effective in what I'm doing. And so I can be inspired by other people. I can be inspired by how they present and flow through the English language with oratorical finesse, right? How they're presenting, how they may talk to their partner, and how they may interact with their partner, right? Or what kind of car they drive. I may be inspired by that, right? What kind of house they live in, the mansion. I may be inspired by that, but I choose not. And it's a choice. It's a choice. I make the choice powerfully to not compete with them, because we are on different journeys. We got different life missions, right? And so looking at that, like, I don't have to compete with any other person. I compete with myself, and I choose to be a more effective version of myself today, right? And so doing that, following these 3 steps of consenting to give someone else permission to assist us, to advise us in the area in which we want to move up in, and to carry out the advice and carry out the actions necessary to do it, and then even being okay with not looking good in the process, and competing with that other version of ourselves, and just tying this all up. If that gentleman, even though he may have been embarrassed in that, if he would have showed up again or have asked for coaching from some of the song, I was going to say song experts, some of the like professional singers, like if he would have done something like that and just like kept showing up and staying in the action, developing the skills, then that temporary moment of embarrassment wouldn't have compared to the amount of people that he could have moved through him staying in the game. And so, yeah, staying in the game, get that advice from others, right, that are further along than you are, and carry out those actions, right? So those 3 steps to attain a massive confidence: consent, right? Give consent to that person so that he can speak into you, because we don't know it all, and I don't know it all. Carrying out the actions necessary, number 2, that will lead to you developing that skill set in that area. And 3, competing with the version of yourself yesterday so that you'll be more effective today. And then as time progresses with you competing with that version of yesterday, when you look up, you might not even recognize yourself because of how different you look, appear, and you act by becoming that new version of yourself. All right. So hope you enjoyed this episode of the System to Success show. Make sure to subscribe and follow for more business systems and marketing mastery principles. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.